The stars stretched endlessly, a tapestry of light and shadow, silent witnesses to the drama unfolding in the heart of the galaxy. For centuries, countless civilizations had lived in fragile harmony, connected by trade, diplomacy, and the fragile trust that peace demanded. But that harmony had shattered in the blink of an eye. A signal had been sent, urgent and desperate, moving faster than any ship could travel. It was a plea for help, sent by the Council of Elders of GalacticPrime, a planet on the brink of annihilation. Their once thriving world was under attack by an enemy so powerful that the term unstoppable barely described them. Their ships were fast, their weapons precise, and their intent clear: conquer or destroy. As the Carrion scientists worked frantically to maintain their planet's shields, the Council sent the plea to every known world in the galaxy. The message was simple, yet full of raw emotion. We beg you, save us before it is too late. The galaxy itself depends on our survival. For hours, the message traveled through vast networks of communication relays. It passed through star systems, war zones, and isolated colonies. Some civilizations intercepted it, then ignored it. Fear ruled them. Others tried to respond, but their technology was too slow, their fleets too small. Silence became the galaxy's answer. And then, beyond the edge of the known systems, a faint signature appeared in the comm networks. At first, it was almost imperceptible, like the whisper of a breeze across a quiet forest, a pulse of energy unlike anything seen before, sharp and steady. The transmission carried a single message in a language older than most known stars. We hear you. The scientists of GalacticPrime stared at the readings in disbelief. Their sensors had never detected anything like it. It was not a message from any alliance, not from any known species. It felt ancient, deliberate, and confident. What is that? Asked High Elder Yalara, her voice trembling despite her calm demeanor. I don't know, replied Dr. Merrick, the chief communicator. But it isn't any technology we recognize. It's alive in a way. The counselors exchanged worried glances. Their world had prepared for an army, not for a miracle. And yet in that moment, hope stirred. Meanwhile, across the void, the unknown fleet approached. It was massive, though elegant, sleek, and silent. Each vessel seemed alive, moving with purpose rather than programming. It was as if the ships themselves understood the weight of the message they carried. Across the galaxy, those few who noticed the movement described them as ghosts of the stars. Human ghosts. Some whispered, though none could explain why. On GalacticPrime, the elders debated their options. Could they trust these mysterious saviors? Or was it a trap, a final cruelty from an unknown enemy? The stakes were clear. Their planet had only hours before the attackers breached their outer defenses. The Council decided to broadcast a reply. We accept your presence. Please help us. The moment the message left their systems, the alien fleet altered its course. It moved faster than the eye could follow, faster than even the fastest light-propelled ships. In minutes, the first of their vessels appeared in orbit above GalacticPrime. The planet trembled as the ships entered the atmosphere. They did not fire. They did not broadcast threats. They simply appeared, hovering in formation that spoke of discipline, strategy, and control. Every citizen who witnessed it felt a mixture of fear and awe. From within the largest vessel, a human figure emerged on the viewing platform. It was hard to distinguish details at first, but the presence was undeniable. Tall, strong, and calm, they exuded confidence without arrogance. A simple message was transmitted directly into the minds of the Carrion Council. We are here. Your plea has been heard. But know this, the galaxy is fragile. Your survival is not guaranteed. Your actions, your unity, and your courage will determine what happens next. The council members fell silent. This was no ordinary rescue. This was a judgment tempered with opportunity. These humans, these Deathworlders as the Whispers would soon name them, had arrived not to simply save but to assess. Dr. Merrick could hardly contain his excitement. They are human, he whispered. From Earth, they survived the centuries. They came back. Survived? Yalara asked. But Earth is legend. It is a story we learned as children. Not just a story, Merrick replied. Humans were always stronger than we imagined. Their worlds were harsh. They adapted. They endured, and now they have returned. The Carrion population watched as the fleet moved in precise patterns, scanning, observing, and waiting. There were no words exchanged with the rest of the galaxy. No one dared to interfere. The Deathworlders were not aggressive. They were patient, intelligent, and unwavering. Their calmness only amplified their power. Outside Carrion, across the stars, other civilizations began to take notice. News traveled faster than light relays could handle. Rumors spread of a race that could decide the fate of entire planets. A race that had faced impossible odds on their homeworlds and survived. A race that had returned not for conquest but for choice. On Carrion Prime, the elders convened emergency sessions. "We are not simply being saved," Yalara said. "We are being measured. Every action, every decision counts. We must show our worth." Dr. Merrick nodded. "They watch not just our defenses but our character. They will see how we care for our people, how we think, how we act. This is not a test of weapons but of wisdom." And then the enemy arrived. From the darkness of space, they appeared in great numbers. Their ships were black, angular, and designed for terror. The sensors of Carrion Prime detected them immediately, and panic rose. For a moment it seemed as though all hope would vanish. But the humans did not panic. From orbit they projected a calm, forceful energy field. It was not destructive, but it blocked every enemy advance. The attackers tried to break through, but the shield held firm. The Carrion fleet, inspired by the Deathworlders' confidence, rallied with renewed determination. In that moment, Carrion Prime understood something profound. Humanity, these Deathworlders, had not returned to rule or dominate. They had returned to protect those who deserved protection, to give opportunity, to show the galaxy what true survival and strength meant. High Elder Yalara looked at the skies, at the silent watchers above. She whispered more to herself than anyone else. "Perhaps we are not just asking for help. Perhaps we are being given a chance to rise." And in the quiet of the stars, the Deathworlders waited. Patient, observant, judgmental, yet fair. The galaxy had called and the answer had come. But the real test, the measure of who would survive, who would rise, had only just begun. The stars, once silent witnesses, now held their breath. The void of space was suddenly filled with motion, unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. From the edges of the known systems, Human starships emerged in perfect formation. They were enormous yet sleek, each one gliding with purpose. Light reflected off their polished hulls, and the faint hum of energy fields resonated across space. The alien observers watched in awe and fear. No weapon fire, no aggressive gestures, only presence. These were humans, the legendary Deathworlders known in myth and half-forgotten histories. They were said to have faced impossible conditions on their home planet, surviving storms, predators, and disasters that would have destroyed any other species. And now, after centuries of silence, they had returned. High Elder Yalara of Carrion Prime watched the approaching fleet from her council chamber. Her heart pounded. "They are magnificent," she whispered. Her voice trembled, yet there was awe in her eyes. "I never imagined they would come. I thought it was only a story." Dr. Merrick nodded beside her. "Stories cannot do justice to this," he said. "They survived death worlds. They came back. Stronger than any legend. The humans made no demands. They did not land immediately. Their ships hovered in orbit, scanning, observing, and measuring. Every movement was deliberate. Every choice seemed carefully calculated. Even the enemy, hiding at the edge of the system, paused as if uncertain. Then, a single human ship detached from the fleet and moved closer to Carrion Prime. It was massive, yet elegant, with a soft glow around its hull. From within, a figure appeared on the viewing platform. The being was unmistakably human, tall, muscular, calm. Their eyes held centuries of knowledge, experience, and a quiet authority that demanded respect. Through the comm channels, their voice spoke directly to the council, but it carried weight far beyond sound. "We are here," the human said. "We have heard the cries of your world. The galaxy is vast, but we see those who are in danger. Yet understand this, not all who call for help will be saved. Your choices, your unity, and your courage will determine the outcome." The council fell silent. The message was not just a promise of aid. It was a warning and a challenge. These humans were not merely saviors. They were evaluators. They would see who deserved protection and who did not. Outside the planet, the human fleet moved with synchronized precision. Ships rotated, creating protective formations around Carrion Prime, while simultaneously keeping watch over the enemy fleet gathering beyond. It was a display of power without violence, a quiet message that the Deathworlders' strength was unmatched. Across the galaxy, news of the human arrival spread like wildfire. Messages transmitted from one star system to another carried the simple truth. The Deathworlders have returned. The galaxy is being watched. The strongest survive, but only the wise are chosen. Leaders of other civilizations reacted differently. Some trembled with fear, recalling the legends of humans who had faced death worlds and survived. Others felt hope stir in their hearts. Perhaps help had finally arrived. Many wondered, would these humans protect them as well or judge them first? On Carrion Prime, citizens gathered in public squares to witness the alien fleet hovering above. Children stared with wide eyes. Elders whispered stories of humanity's past, and scientists scrambled to record every detail. The ships were unlike anything built by known civilizations. Energy fields shimmered along their surfaces, shielding them from observation or attack. Even the smallest human craft seemed capable of outmaneuvering entire fleets. The enemy, watching from afar, was unsettled. Their confidence, once unshakable, wavered in the presence of the Deathworlders. For centuries they had conquered without challenge. Now, for the first time, they faced a species whose resolve could not be measured by firepower alone. A human envoy appeared again, this time addressing the people of Carrion directly. The being's voice was calm yet filled with authority. "We are not here to fight you," they said. "We are here to observe, to protect those who deserve protection. We do not conquer, but we do choose. Stand with courage. Stand with unity. Your actions will decide the future of your world." The citizens felt a mixture of awe and determination. The Deathworlders did not offer weapons carelessly, nor did they demand allegiance. Instead, they gave an opportunity, the chance to prove themselves. As hours passed, the humans began a careful survey of the planet. They moved over cities, forests, and oceans with ships capable of scanning without harm. They identified critical systems, natural defenses, and potential points of vulnerability, but at no time did they interfere directly. Their presence was a test as much as it was protection. The enemy attempted their first strike, sending a wave of ships toward Carrion. But the humans did not attack directly. Instead, they deployed energy barriers that disrupted the enemy's weapons. The alien forces collided with the invisible shields, their attacks rendered ineffective. It was a display of control and intelligence. Dr. Merrick watched the battle from the control room. "They do not fight the enemy directly," he said. "They prepare us to survive. They give us strength without taking it for themselves." "That is extraordinary." High Elder Yalara nodded. "It is not just power," she said. "It is wisdom. They understand that survival is not just about weapons or shields. It is about courage, unity, and the right choices." Over the next several hours, the humans coordinated with the Carrion forces. They instructed without arrogance, guided without dominating. The people of Carrion learned quickly, adapting to new tactics and strategies. With the Deathworlders' guidance, they strengthened their defenses, prepared contingency plans, and worked together as one. The alien enemy, realizing their attacks were ineffective, began to retreat. Their confidence had been shaken by the humans' calm authority. For the first time, they hesitated, unsure if victory was possible against a species that combined strength, intelligence, and strategic patience. Above Carrion Prime, the human figure observed quietly. They did not celebrate. They did not boast. Their eyes scanned every detail, noting both courage and weakness. The Council understood that this was only the beginning. The Deathworlders had arrived to protect, yes, but also to judge, and their judgment would shape the fate of countless worlds. In the cities below, people whispered among themselves. "The stories were true," one child said. "Humans are real. They came back." "Yes," an elder replied. "And they are not here to take. They are here to see who is worthy of survival." As night fell on Carrion Prime, the alien ships above glowed softly, illuminating the world in a gentle, protective light. For the first time in weeks, the citizens felt hope. They were not alone. The Deathworlders had arrived. The legends of humanity, once thought to be stories, were now reality. And the galaxy, for the first time in centuries, had a chance to survive. But even as hope returned, the Council knew one truth. Help had come, yes, but judgment had come with it. Humanity's return was not a gift freely given. It was an opportunity, one that required courage, wisdom, and unity to seize. And so, the people of Carrion Prime prepared. They trained, they learned, and they watched the stars with renewed determination. Above them, the Deathworlders waited, patient and vigilant. The galaxy had cried out in fear. Now it would be measured by those who had survived the harshest worlds imaginable. The legend of the humans, the Deathworlders, grew with each passing hour. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. They are back. They see all. They decide who lives and who does not. And they do not fail. The first step had been taken. The galaxy had a chance. And the humans had returned not as conquerors, but as judges, guides, and protectors. The real test and the measure of worthiness had only just begun. The vast human fleet hovered above Carrion Prime like silent guardians of the stars. Their presence was steady and unwavering, a calm power that contrasted sharply with the chaos that had gripped the galaxy in recent weeks. For the first time, leaders from multiple star systems were gathered on Carrion Prime, summoned by the humans themselves. High Elder Yalara stood at the edge of the council chamber, looking up at the fleet. Her heart raced with both excitement and nervousness. "They are beyond anything we imagined," she whispered to Dr. Merrick. "I can feel their intelligence. Their purpose, they are extraordinary," Dr. Merrick nodded. "They do not just protect, they evaluate. Every decision, every action we take is observed. They do not waste effort on weakness. They only respond to courage, unity, and wisdom." The council chamber was filled with representatives from various planets, some allies, some neutral, and some who had long ignored pleas for help from distant worlds. All eyes were fixed on the platform at the center where the humans would appear. Then, in a ripple of soft light, the human emissaries materialized. They were not many, but their presence filled the room. Each was tall, composed, and confident with an air of calm authority. Their gaze was steady, their posture perfect. No one felt threatened, yet no one could ignore the quiet power they radiated. The leader of the human delegation spoke first. His voice was calm, resonant, and carried through the chamber as if it had weight beyond words. "We have come because the galaxy called," he said. Many heard the call, but few acted. Fear held most back. Some ignored it. We did not. But understand this, survival is not a gift. It is earned. We are here to guide, to observe, and to protect those who deserve it. A murmur passed through the chamber. Some representatives exchanged uneasy glances. Others bowed their heads, humbled by the gravity of the statement. "We will not intervene in every conflict," the human continued. "We will not save those who ignore the cries of others. We protect those who understand that life is precious, that unity is strength, and that wisdom guides survival. Today we will determine who is worthy of standing with us." The words hung in the air like a challenge. The representatives felt both fear and awe. No one had spoken to them with such clarity, such authority, and yet without arrogance. It was as though the humans themselves were the embodiment of the principles they valued: courage, wisdom, and responsibility. High Elder Yalara rose to speak. Her voice was steady, but her thoughts raced. "We are ready to cooperate," she said. "We are prepared to show that GalacticPrime and its allies are worthy of your protection. Tell us what we must do." The human leader inclined his head slightly. "You will demonstrate unity. You will show wisdom in decision-making. You will prove courage not through weapons alone, but through thought, strategy, and cooperation. The test is simple yet challenging. Those who act for the good of the galaxy, not for selfish gain, will stand with us. Those who do not will be left behind." Some representatives stiffened. Many had hoped for a more direct rescue, a simple intervention to defeat the enemy. But the humans' approach was different. It was not about domination or fear. It was about growth, evaluation, and merit. Dr. Merrick leaned closer to Yalara. "They are testing us," he whispered. "Not just GalacticPrime, all who are here. The galaxy itself will be judged, and our choices will decide who survives." The human emissary continued, detailing the first steps. Representatives would be grouped into councils where they would collaborate to solve strategic challenges, protecting key planets, allocating resources for defense, and maintaining peace between civilizations under stress. Every action, every decision was observed and recorded. The humans provided guidance, not orders. They advised on strategy, on tactics, and on the ethical weight of choices, but they did not dictate them. The council chambers quickly transformed into a hub of activity. Holographic maps of entire star systems projected above the tables, showing planets under threat, fleets in motion, and potential alliances. Representatives worked tirelessly, communicating, debating, and making decisions that would affect billions of lives. Some leaders acted selfishly, seeking to gain resources or territory for their own benefit. The humans watched quietly, noting the choices without interference. Others demonstrated courage and wisdom, negotiating peace, sharing resources, and prioritizing the protection of weaker worlds. Every choice was a reflection of their values. High Elder Yalara marveled at the process. "This is more than war," she said. "It is a test of character. The humans do not simply fight our battles. They teach us how to stand together. They are shaping the galaxy not through force, but through understanding." Days passed. The humans continued to observe, guide, and measure. Their presence was a calming influence, yet it carried an undeniable weight. When the enemy attempted attacks on vulnerable planets, the humans allowed Carrion and its allies to respond. offering strategic advice but never intervening directly. They tested the leaders' decision-making, their ability to work together under pressure, and their willingness to protect those who could not defend themselves. On the fourth day, a critical moment arrived. A neutral planet, unaligned and previously ignored, came under attack by a fleet of opportunistic raiders. The representatives of nearby systems were tempted to let the planet fall, citing limited resources and strategic priorities. But the humans watched closely. High Elder Yalara rose and spoke. "We cannot abandon them," she said. "Their lives matter. Their survival is part of the galaxy's future. If we value life, we must act." Other representatives hesitated, but Yalara's words inspired courage. Plans were formed, defenses coordinated, and resources shared. The fleet, guided by the Council, successfully defended the planet. The humans observed silently, then the leader spoke. "You chose wisely. Life was protected. Courage and unity were displayed. This planet will stand with you." A wave of relief swept through the chamber. It was the first public acknowledgement of success by the Deathworlders. The Council understood that every choice, every action carried consequences, both for themselves and for the galaxy. Over the next days, similar challenges arose. Trade disputes, resource shortages, natural disasters, and attacks from hostile factions tested the representatives' ability to work together. The humans watched, noted, and occasionally offered guidance that emphasized fairness, ethics, and long-term thinking. They never forced a decision. They only measured resolve. The alien enemy, observing these developments from afar, became increasingly wary. Their previous confidence had been based on the assumption that the galaxy would be divided and weak. But under the guidance of the humans, planets coordinated, communicated, and acted in unison. Even the most isolated systems demonstrated cooperation and courage, surprising both the humans and the enemy. For the first time, leaders across the galaxy realized something profound. Humanity, these Deathworlders, were not merely saviors or warriors. They were mentors, judges, and catalysts. Their strength was not in destruction, but in the ability to inspire others to rise to their potential. High Elder Yalara reflected on the days since the humans' arrival. "We are learning more than defense," she said. "We are learning how to be worthy of survival. They do not impose their will. They expect us to act with wisdom, courage, and compassion." Dr. Merrick added, "They have returned not to rule, not to conquer, but to show the galaxy what it truly means to endure, to survive, and to thrive. We are being given a chance to prove ourselves worthy." By the end of the week, the Council had reached a significant milestone. Systems previously hesitant to cooperate had demonstrated unity. Plans to protect vulnerable worlds were in place. The humans, while still quiet observers, signaled approval through subtle gestures, a shift in fleet formation, a change in energy field patterns, and occasional direct communication acknowledging wise decisions. The galaxy was changing, not through conquest or fear, but through deliberate, careful guidance. The Deathworlders' presence had inspired courage, collaboration, and hope. Those who had once ignored pleas for help now understood the weight of responsibility. Those who had acted selfishly faced consequences, quietly observed and measured. High Elder Yalara looked out at the stars again, feeling the presence of the human fleet. "They came to judge," she said softly. "But in doing so, they have shown us how to rise. We are being given a second chance, not just to survive, but to become worthy of standing alongside them." Dr. Merrick smiled, though his eyes remained serious. "The test is far from over," he said. "The humans do not rush. They observe. They teach. They guide. And soon the galaxy will know which worlds are truly ready to survive, and which are not." And in the quiet of the council chamber, the humans waited, patient, vigilant, and wise, their gaze stretched across the stars, watching, measuring, and preparing for the next stage. The galaxy had been called, and now under the watchful eyes of the Deathworlders it was being shaped. The galaxy had begun to change. Under the watchful eyes of the human fleet, worlds that had once fought separately now coordinated their efforts. Communication networks that had long been dormant buzzed with activity, connecting distant planets and species. Trade routes reopened, military forces trained together, and citizens across star systems began to understand a new idea. Survival was not about strength alone, but about unity, wisdom, and courage. High Elder Yalara observed the results from the council chamber on Carrion Prime. The human fleet hovered above the planet, silent but ever-present. Each movement of the ships, each shift in their formation conveyed a message of calm authority. It was clear. The humans had not returned merely to defend the galaxy. They had returned to test it, to measure which civilizations truly valued life and cooperation. Dr. Merrick joined her at the observation deck. "They are giving us the chance to learn," he said. "Not just Carrion Prime, but the galaxy as a whole. Every decision we make is a reflection of who we are." The first true test arrived when a neutral system, Arendor, requested aid. Its planet faced an unexpected natural disaster. Massive storms had ripped across continents, destroying infrastructure and threatening millions of lives. While some systems debated whether to send resources or focus on defending against the enemy, the humans remained silent observers, letting the galaxy decide how to respond. Yalara turned to the council. "We cannot wait," she said firmly. "If we value life, we must act. We must help those who cannot defend themselves, even if it stretches our resources thin." Other representatives nodded. Plans were quickly drawn. Ships were dispatched carrying medical aid, engineers, and emergency supplies. Coordinated efforts across multiple systems ensured that relief reached the affected populations before the storms could claim more lives. The human emissaries watched the efforts quietly. Their approval was subtle, a slight realignment of the fleet, a gentle wave of energy passing over the relief convoys, ensuring efficiency and safety. The Carrion Council felt a quiet pride. This was not a victory over an enemy, but a victory of unity and compassion. The next challenge tested strategy and courage. Intelligence reports indicated that raider fleets were attempting to attack vulnerable colonies in the Othara sector. The representatives debated how to respond. Many suggested focusing on defending their own systems first. Others wanted to strike at the raiders directly. The human leader spoke through the communication link. "Protection is not selfish. Those who act for the good of the galaxy are the ones who endure. You will decide, but your choices reflect the heart of your worlds." The council agreed on a plan that balanced defense and aid. Forces from multiple systems coordinated to defend the colonies, while simultaneously establishing safe evacuation routes for civilians. The operation required trust, precision, and collaboration. When the raiders arrived, they found themselves facing a united front, far more organized and prepared than ever before. Their attacks were neutralized not through raw power alone, but through strategy, foresight, and teamwork. The humans remained observers, ensuring the plans were effective but allowing the galaxy to execute them. For the first time, many leaders realized the true meaning of the humans' test. Survival depended not only on technology or strength, but on courage, wisdom, and the willingness to protect others, even at personal risk. Meanwhile, Carrion Prime itself faced internal challenges. Resources were limited, and tensions rose among different factions of the population. Some argued that they should focus only on their own survival. Others believed that they must share resources with weaker neighboring planets, as the humans had demonstrated. Yalara called a council session. "The humans do not just test us against enemies," she said. "They test our hearts. Will we choose self-interest, or will we act for the greater good? Our actions now will be remembered, and they will be measured." The decision was difficult, but the council agreed to share resources with neighboring planets in need. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to send technology and aid to worlds struggling with both environmental disasters and raider attacks. For the first time, alliances began to form naturally, without the pressure of fear or domination. The humans' approach was subtle, but powerful. They did not dictate morality. They did not demand obedience. Instead, they observed, guided, and highlighted the importance of ethical choices. Their presence encouraged growth, wisdom, and cooperation across the galaxy. Several weeks into the tests, the enemy fleet returned, stronger and more determined. They sought to exploit weaknesses, believing that divisions among the galaxy's systems could be turned to their advantage. Yet when they arrived, they found a coordinated response that shocked them. Planets that had once fought alone now acted as one, combining fleets, sharing information, and protecting those who could not defend themselves. High Elder Yalara watched as the human fleet deployed advanced energy barriers. not to attack, but to give the combined forces an advantage. The humans offered advice on positioning, timing, and resource allocation, allowing the galaxy to act with precision. When the enemy attacked, they found themselves outmaneuvered, unable to exploit divisions or weaknesses. Dr. Merrick whispered to Yalara, "The humans are showing us that true power is not in weapons alone. It is in unity, strategy, and heart. We are learning faster than ever before." The battle was not easy. Losses were felt, and the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on the Council. But the humans continued to observe and advise, ensuring that every action reflected thoughtfulness and care. The enemy began to retreat, recognizing that brute force alone could not overcome a galaxy united under courage and wisdom. After the conflict, the humans addressed the Council once more. "You have demonstrated the strength of unity, the courage to protect life, and the wisdom to act with fairness," the human leader said. "These are the qualities that endure. But understand this, the tests will continue. Greater challenges lie ahead. Only those who act with heart, courage, and wisdom will rise with us." The Council felt both pride and humility. The humans had not given them victory. They had given them a chance to prove themselves. And they had succeeded. But the message was clear. The real work had only begun. Citizens across Carrion Prime and neighboring planets began to see the humans differently. They were no longer distant legends. They were mentors, judges, and guides. Their presence inspired hope, courage, and determination. People began working together in ways they never had before, realizing that cooperation was the true path to survival. The enemy, still lurking at the edges of the galaxy, understood something profound as well. The humans did not simply overpower their foes. They empowered the galaxy to rise to its potential. Strength was not measured by fear or weapons, but by the ability to act wisely, courageously, and ethically. High Elder Yalara looked at the stars, reflecting on the weeks that had passed. "We are learning what it means to stand worthy," she said. "The humans are showing us that survival is more than technology. It is unity, courage, and heart. We are only beginning to understand, but we will rise," Dr. Merrick smiled. "They are teaching us without words, guiding us without force. The galaxy is changing, and we are part of it. The Deathworlders are not here to rule. They are here to inspire, to measure, and to help us become worthy of standing with them." Above Carrion Prime, the human fleet shimmered in the void, a silent reminder of what true strength looked like. They waited patiently, observing, guiding, and preparing for the next stage. The galaxy had survived the first tests. Now, under the watchful eyes of the Deathworlders, it was learning what it truly meant to endure, to protect life, and to act with courage and wisdom. The challenges ahead would be greater, but the hearts of those who had learned from the humans were stronger than ever before. And in the quiet of space, the humans waited, patient and vigilant. The next stage of the test, marked the ultimate measure of courage, heart, and unity, was coming. The galaxy would soon discover what it truly meant to be worthy of standing with the Deathworlders. The galaxy had changed. Systems that had once fought alone now moved as one. Fleets and populations working together with a purpose that had seemed impossible just weeks before. The presence of the humans and the Deathworlders had transformed fear into courage, indecision into strategy, and apathy into unity. High Elder Yalara stood on the observation deck of Carrion Prime, her eyes scanning the countless stars. The enemy fleets, once confident and terrifying, were now scattered and cautious. The humans had not attacked them directly, yet the mere presence of their fleet had forced the enemy to rethink every move. The galaxy itself seemed to stand taller, stronger, and more resilient. Dr. Merrick joined her, holding a datapad filled with reports from across multiple systems. "We are ready," he said. "The galaxy has learned. Leaders have made wise choices and citizens have acted with courage. But the final test is coming. The humans will measure not just strength, but the heart of every civilization." Above the planet, the human fleet hovered in precise formation. Their ships shimmered with a quiet, powerful energy. Though they remained mostly silent, their presence carried authority and reassurance. Every move they made was calculated, teaching the galaxy how to act wisely and strategically without fear or arrogance. A comm signal activated from the central human vessel. The human leader's voice was calm, resonant, and firm. "The final stage has begun," he said. "Those who have learned to act with courage, wisdom, and unity will stand together. Those who falter, who act out of selfishness or fear, will be left behind. The galaxy will now face the enemy with its full strength, guided by understanding, not by fear. We will measure the heart of every civilization." Across the galaxy, fleets moved with purpose. Planets previously isolated now sent support to allies. Scientists shared technology to strengthen defenses. Civilians volunteered in record numbers, building supply lines and aiding evacuation efforts for threatened worlds. The lesson was clear. Survival depended not only on weapons but on cooperation, courage, and wisdom. The enemy, sensing the coordination, hesitated. Their scouts reported fleets moving as one, planets working together and humans calmly observing every move. For the first time, the enemy felt uncertainty. Their usual strategies of terror and divide and conquer were ineffective. On Carrion Prime, the final plan was set. Coordinated fleets, supported by civilian networks and advanced strategies advised by the humans, would defend key points while evacuating vulnerable populations. The humans did not lead the fleets, nor did they dictate the strategies. Instead, they guided with subtle advice, enhancing the decisions of the galactic leaders. High Elder Yalara addressed the council. "The humans have taught us much," she said. "They have shown us courage without recklessness, strength without oppression, and wisdom without arrogance. Now it is our turn to act. We fight not to dominate, but to protect life. We fight together," Dr. Merrick nodded. "This is what the Deathworlders have prepared us for. They do not fight for us, but they have shown us how to fight as one." The enemy launched their attack. Massive fleets surged forward, weapons glowing with deadly intent. But the combined forces of the galaxy met them with unmatched coordination. Fleets maneuvered with precision, anticipating enemy moves. Supply lines were protected, vulnerable systems shielded, and civilians safely evacuated. Every choice was guided by the principles humans had instilled. Courage, unity, and wisdom above the battlefield, the human fleet observed, occasionally adjusting energy fields to protect those acting wisely, and subtly blocking attacks from those who acted recklessly. Their actions were never intrusive. They allowed civilizations to stand and succeed through their own choices. The humans did not need to dominate the battle. Their presence alone inspired strategy, courage, and hope. As the fighting continued, the enemy realized that force alone would not win the war. The galaxy had been strengthened by humanity's guidance. Systems that had been weak and isolated were now coordinated and resilient. Planets that had once acted selfishly now protected one another. Civilians aided fleets, scientists improved technology, and leaders made wise choices under pressure. High Elder Yalara watched the battlefield and felt a surge of pride. "We are not simply surviving," she said. "We are proving ourselves worthy. The humans have shown us the path, but we walk it ourselves." Dr. Merrick smiled. "They do not need to fight for us. They only need to remind us of who we can be. And now, the galaxy fights as one." As the enemy began to falter, Carrion Prime's fleet delivered a decisive maneuver, cutting off retreat paths and disabling key enemy systems. Other systems followed, coordinating strikes without direct orders. The enemy fleet, once confident in its power, now faced organized resistance that it could not overcome. Finally, the enemy retreated. Their forces scattered across the galaxy, unable to challenge a united and determined civilization. The humans had not fired a weapon directly, yet their guidance and presence had made victory possible. The council chambers on Carrion Prime erupted in celebration. Representatives from all systems, once hesitant and divided, now embraced one another. They had survived not because of force alone, but because they had acted with courage, unity, and wisdom, the very qualities the humans had come to measure. The human leader spoke again, addressing the galaxy. "You have acted wisely. You have shown courage and unity. Life has been protected and hope has been restored. You are worthy, not because you are strong, but because you understand what it means to stand together. The galaxy is in your hands, and we have observed that it is capable of greatness." Citizens across worlds cheered. The humans did not celebrate, nor did they demand recognition. Their calm authority remained. But their message was clear. The galaxy had earned the right to survive. High Elder Yalara turned to Dr. Merrick. "They have shown us that strength is not measured in weapons alone," she said. "It is measured in courage, in heart, and in wisdom. The galaxy is alive because of choices, not just technology. We have learned from them." Dr. Merrick nodded. "They are guardians, not rulers. They fight only when necessary, but they inspire all others to rise. That is the true power of humanity. The Deathworlders." The human fleet slowly began to move. They did not leave immediately, but hovered, a reminder that observation and guidance were ongoing. They would continue to watch, to inspire, and to measure, ensuring that the galaxy remained worthy of protection. Above Carrion Prime, the stars seemed brighter. Across the galaxy, civilizations that had once quarreled now cooperated. Technology was shared, knowledge exchanged, and alliances strengthened. The humans had returned not to conquer, but to ensure that life, courage, and wisdom endured. High Elder Yalara looked at the central human ship and whispered, "We were given a chance, not a gift, not a handout, a chance to rise, and we have taken it." Dr. Merrick added, "The Deathworlders came to judge, to teach, and to inspire. They have not ruled. They have elevated us all. The galaxy will never forget this." And so the galaxy entered a new era. Systems that had once fought in fear now acted in unity. Civilizations that had hesitated now led with courage. And the humans, the Deathworlders, remained a quiet, guiding presence, ensuring that the galaxy remembered what it truly meant to be strong, to protect life, to act wisely, and to stand together. The legend of humanity grew, not as conquerors but as guardians. Their arrival had answered the galaxy's plea, but their purpose was greater than victory. They had shown what it meant to endure, to inspire, and to guide. In the quiet of space, the humans waited, vigilant and patient, ready to protect life wherever it was threatened.